Now, this isn't about what Gotcha Smack had to say about the story, and honestly, if he thinks version 2.8's quest was mid, then, that's his opinion. And if he also thinks that the one romance scene was corny, then that's also his own opinion, even though that's like, any happy and loving relationship in your life, but whatever. But the reason why I'm making this video is because of clueless sheeps that regurgitate whatever they hear other people say and think it's the truth. I'm making this video because there are people out there who are willing to skip the story, don't pay attention to the lore, and then say all these false negatives about the story and Wuthering Waves as a whole, all because of something they'll never experience in their life. Yes, we're talking about the whole drama that's surrounding not only version 2.8, but also the drama surrounding Chisa's character as a whole, where people label her as nothing more than waifu bait. So today's video is basically me going over a couple of tweets discussing the terrible takes these people have and see if we can debunk some of these. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So the first tweet we're going to be looking at is this one, which says, "As soon as Chisa mentioned cherry blossoms and the music changed, I knew it would be another wife gathered moment, so I skipped immediately. It seems my hunch was right. I play wuwa to pull the characters I like, not to self-insert into this bum." So let me get this straight. You skipped God knows how many minutes of cutscenes that had lore. You skipped over Chisa discussing how Honami felt like her home after being away from the outside world for 20 years. You skipped over crucial lore and details about how Rover was actually attending Star Torch Academy and how Chisa knew he was attending beforehand. You skipped over Chisa contemplating on what to do after being away from the life she was living after 20 whole years. All because of your little idiotic spider sense that can detect the most average of average anime romance in an anime game. Look, listen, I normally don't care how people progress through a game when it comes to the lore, but for you to justify missing out on really interesting lore just because you can't stand seeing your typical anime romance for a couple of seconds, mind you, is beyond idiotic. And genuinely, I hope you don't skip entire chunks of anime episodes just because of your little hunch. Next up, we have another clever Twitter user that says, "LMAO, every patch and every mission with new characters is always the same. Repetitive and boring as hell." Do I really need to say much? You know what? Yeah, listen, let's just break it down like this. Phoebe, Galbretta, Zani, Augusta, Chacona, Rochia, Buling. These 7 characters have not shown nor gave off the sign of liking Rover romantically. There are only 5 characters that we can even label as them liking Rover like that, and they are Cardadia, Cantarella, Carlotta, Yuno, and Chisa. 5 out of the 12 female characters in this game has shown or hinted at anything romantic throughout the entirety of 2.x. Yet you blatantly lie and say every mission and characters are always the same. You absolute donkey. At Wuthering Waves, stop with the boring harem slop. No one except the irrelevant gooners care. Bruh, get new material please. I love this game, but be original, please. If you actually played through the game without having your hate boner blocking your view, you quickly realize that this game is filled with originality and that romance is not always this direct, and the only reason it's this direct is because this whole version is heavily inspired by anime as a whole, especially with the romance genre with specifically Chisa and Rover. My goodness, just play the game. Wuwa is really a significantly more enjoyable experience when you just skip over the story. And this person typed that with drool coming out their mouth and having a dunce cap put on their head. Wow, oh wow, congratulations. You told the whole world you disliked the story. Now, sure, yes, there are tons of people who don't care about the story and just skip, but this clearly depends on the person. no experience is the right experience. So while I would personally recommend someone to try this story, I would never ever say that one way is the right way. I don't hate the trope, but they do it almost every patch. Of course she has strong feelings for Rover. She was so lonely before, and Rover is a first person she can touch, be equal to, talk to, etc. Works like clock though, so can't blame Kuro going easy route and milking this trope very dry. If they truly wanted to milk this whole romance thing, then 90% of the cast would be head over heels for Rover, which isn't the case. As for how Chisa fell for Rover, it's not the fact that they were equal or anything like that. She has friends and family who do care for her. It's just the usual anime romance stuff. Admiration for what they've done, the fact that Rover is such a respectable figure, they look good, listen, they look good, okay? They look good, they're kind, you know, the whole shebang. Not gonna lie, I haven't played a story quest with a girl character in this game that hasn't felt like the girl has feelings for Rover. I don't know why the community doesn't admit this game has harem slop. Apologies, but what you're mistaking Wuthering Ways for is Nikkei. What you're saying is blatantly wrong, so hear me out. You're telling me that you played and interacted with Sani, Augusta, Rochia, Chacona, etc. and thought,
yeah, they definitely have feelings for Rover.
nah, I don't believe you one bit. Any other scenario, I'd have loved these quests. But in this game, none of these women get past the women who are down bad for Rover. Why portray every character as a love interest? Their underlying story gets a side seat as the... What is this dude's English? As at the end, they all have a crush on MC. Now, why are we just lying for free? Chisa's entire goal and quest was literally the main bread and butter of the version, and this goes for anyone who has some sort of feelings for Rover. They always focus on the lore of the characters 99% of the time and give us a couple of seconds of some sort of fan service just to hint at their crush. Cardithia's moments were like a couple of seconds long, Cantarella's moment was at the literal ending of the quest, and Chisa's here was nearing the end of the quest. Listen, I'm all in for critiques, but let's not just lie to solely hate on the game. Wuwa is so funny because the characters will be genuinely well written and have good backstories and characterization. Then they lock eyes with Rover and just become harem members like it's honestly so effing stupid. I'm gonna repeat myself if I keep this up, but genuine question. How does them falling with Rover diminish their already well-established backstory and characterization? Because Chisa clearly acts the same way even after falling for Rover. Same for Shorekeeper, Cantarella, Cardithia, etc. A couple of seconds of romance isn't a negative towards the character. It's just a little fan service for romance lovers. God forbid a couple of characters fall for the NC. Dudes will get mad at Hoyo for making characters like Setlali, Cyrene, and Firefly be reduced to waifu bait, then glaze wuwa. The fact that you somehow were able to reduce every single well-written character you listed there as waifu bait shows how little you know about the characters you're talking about. Debunking your claims would be like telling someone that fire is hot. Just play through every single one of those characters' quests and you'd quickly realize how wrong you are. But yeah, overall, the whole discourse around Chisa and version 2.8's quests is just really stupid. I've never seen so many people be utterly wrong about both the story and the characters and then start acting like they know what they're talking about. And no, just because the romance scene was corny doesn't make it automatically bad. Now, judging by how Smack feels about the quest and looking back at how he described it being corny, it does seem like he meant it in a negative way. But hey, their words aren't absolute, nor are my words. However, I won't lie and spread misinformation about the quest in Chisa. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next Wuthering Ways video. Signing off.
'Cause I've been so tired. I don't wanna fight, but you're a liar. I need your help, cause the situation's dire. I'm so sick of using people to get higher.